let's evaluate the next one. So this one's a little different. I have to think about a domain here. This one is linear, so it's going to be negative infinity to infinity. This one we haven't talked about yet, but we do know that we have a restriction. There's one number that I can't put on the bottom, and that number is 0. So this one, the domain is going to be every number except for 0. So I'm going to stop it at 0 and start back up, and it'll look like this. All right, let's find f of g of 5. So I'm going to have f of g of 5. So inside here, I'm going to put the g function with a 5 in place of the x. And that is 1. Now I'm going to go to the f function and put a 1 where the x is. So my answer would be negative 1. Okay, let's find g of f of 2. So I'm going to start with the f function and put 2 in place of x. And 2 minus 2 is 0. So now I'm going to evaluate the g function at 0. So I'm going to put a 0 where the x is. But there's a problem. You can't have a 0 in the bottom of a fraction, so this one is undefined. Won't be a graph there, and I'll show you one like that in a moment. Okay, let's go and find f of g of x. This is the one where I have to kind of worry about the domain, and the domain is found by worrying about the domain of this part right here. And then we may have to tweak it. So the domain of g of x is every number except for 0. So this is where I'm going to start. And we can write it like this if we want to. So I'm going to put the g function in here. So it's 5 over x. Now I'm going to go write the f function, but I'm going to put this in place of the x. So I'm going to have 5 over x, subtract 2. And that would be my new function. Okay, let's find g of f of x. So my domain is going to come from the inside part here. So my domain is going to be negative infinity to infinity. Now I might have to tweak that in a moment if we have something that where the x moves to the denominator. So I'm going to put the f function here, which is x minus 2. And now I'm going to go put this in place of the x and the g function. So I have 5 over x minus 2. Well, when I did that, this created the new function, but this new function has a problem. The problem is I can't have a 2 in the denominator. So my domain is not negative infinity to infinity anymore. It's negative infinity to infinity, but x can't be 2. We have a restriction.